A number of heads of state and heads of government graced the vibrant Gujarat Global Summit. And the summit was also graced by the President of Mozambique, President Nyusi. India and Mozambique have age-old trade relationship. When we're talking about Mozambique, it's trade relationship with the western states of India. We are joined in by none other than the President of Mozambique, President Nyusi, on this broadcast to tell us more on how his experience has been at the Vibrant Gujarat Global Summit and also the relationship that Mozambique enjoys and shares with India. Thank you so much, President, for joining us on this broadcast. Welcome to DD India.
Thank you very much. I want to thank the Prime Minister Modi for inviting me to come. You know, PM is a friend of mine, and this is helping a lot ourselves to facilitate the relationship between my country and India. As you say very well, we have a very long tradition between our countries. I can tell you, if you are visiting Mozambique, some areas you will find like you are in Gujarat or you are in Mumbai, everywhere, a lot of people together. No question who is that, you can find everything. But the experience gained this, we can see that we have a lot of local additions here in terms of you have the resources, but you are transforming the resources in this country and for your people, and you are employing a lot of people. Another thing, you are focusing a lot on technology. This is why, for example, you are building the gift city, to mean that you are thinking for the tomorrow. We discussed a lot about business with your country, including with your president, with your PM, with the Gujarat chief ministers, with the private sectors. I believe that the gain will be better than what before thinking.
You had a meeting with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Can you share us some details on what agendas and what subject sectors were discussed during that meeting?
Yes, Prime Minister Modi.
Prime Minister Modi, we are always meeting. Everywhere we meet. Of course, in 2015, our relations date back a long time ago. So in 2015, I paid a visit to India. That's where we laid the foundations for what we are reaping today. And in 2016, Prime Minister Modi visited Mozambique, and we discussed a lot about our cooperation.
Passar a revista sobre as nossas relações. E por isso mesmo, durante
Indeed, in our conversation, that was the first step we took when we arrived in this country, was to hold bilateral conversations with Prime Minister Modi, where we reviewed our cooperation, and we discussed matters on agriculture, mining, and many other areas of cooperation. Indeed, cooperation with India is very strong. For instance, in the area of mining, we have Indian companies in Mozambique being successfully in the development of coal resources. In oil and gas, we have 3 Indian companies that are very active in this sector. So our cooperation is indeed very good. Indeed, what we are doing here is to focus also on knowledge, science and technology. Prime Minister Modi has pledged to help us further in this endeavor of developing human capital. But I had, the President has mentioned also the issue of cooperation in the area of security. We had challenges like terrorism, where India is helping. We had maritime piracy. One of the ships from Mozambique was abducted by these pirates, and it was recovered here in India.
Para poder dar a sua contribuição em Moçambique.
Sir, you mentioned about how you and Prime Minister Narendra Modi have had a conversation on multilateral forums as well. When we're talking about the Voice of the Global South Summit, you attended the first edition also, and then you attended the second edition in November last year. How do you see the importance of the summit and Prime Minister Narendra Modi's leadership in, bringing the voice heard, the Global South?
I have to congratulate Prime Minister Modi for this summit. We've seen the leadership of Prime Minister Modi, and of course we've seen what India is doing the developments, the progress India is making, which is can be replicated elsewhere in the world. Indeed, we've seen the vision of Prime Minister Modi quite outstanding here, because this forum started in 2003. Now we are at the 10th edition, and Prime Minister has fulfilled all the commitments that he made when he started this vibrant Gujarat Global Forum. In 10 years, India was on the 11th position in terms of development ranking in the world. Now India is on the 4th or 5th, and Prime Minister Modi is he wants to reach the 3rd spot in terms of development ranking. And I think this is going to be realized. And all other chief ministers in Gujarat have continued the legacy of Prime Minister Modi. And I believe you will do a lot, because you are focusing on science, technology, and the education of the youth, the culture of hard work and patriotism that will indeed propel India to new heights.
E nós felicitamos nesse momento.
So, the inclusion of the African Union in the G20 under India's presidency, and you attended the Voice of the Global South Summit as well. How do you see, the Voice of the Global South Summit bringing the voice of the Global South on multilateral forums? Also, the inclusion of the African Union in the G20 under India's presidency.
Well, thank you. And once again, congratulations to PM Modi and the people of India. I remember when we had a meeting together, not here, not in Mozambique, somewhere, comes and asked me, well, I'm going to chair G20. What do you think? What can I do for Africa or for your country? I said that, well, this is a good question, but try to do the best. I know that you can. I know that you can. Do everything to make sure that me as Africans, we are inside. With majority also in terms of the economy, and we are the economy of the future. We need to be as permanent member in G as Africa Union. And they said, well, I will try to do my best. And I don't believe that it's the best. It's too much best. Because now we are going, the voice of our countries, African countries, including my country, will be inside the decision, to take a decision. And this is it's clear the vision of your Prime Minister, the vision of inclusion, international inclusion. And he's going to help a lot, not only for African countries, but what we are going to discuss, what we are going to share, it will be for all the world.
Sir, in your initial comments, you discussed about terrorism. You said how Mozambique has also borne the brunt of terrorism. India has also been affected by terrorism. How do you see both the countries are on the same page for their counter-terrorism initiatives? How do you see this becoming a challenge?
O terrorismo é problema universal.
Indeed, terrorism is a global problem, is a global challenge. We will be mistaken if you believe that terrorism is only for one country, or there are countries that are spared from terrorism. This is a global phenomenon, and therefore we have to work all together to fight this scourge of terrorism. And we believe that terrorism has become a way of causing a backwardness to countries. It seems that it has been organized, or is something done intentionally as a weapon to retard development of countries.
Tem estado a merecer uma participação de todos nós.
Indeed, India and Mozambique have been cooperating in the area of counter-terrorism. The same we did when we were fighting maritime piracy. We've seen our countries cooperating in terms of defense, whereby we have opportunities for training and capacity building of our members of the defense forces in India. And we've been doing maritime security assignments together, patrolling our sea, the Indian Ocean, which is a common ocean, which makes us very good partners. So India, apart from assisting us and helping us in showing solidarity, shows it's taking a leadership in terms of global matters of security. And we applaud India for that.
So, in your initial comments, you said oil and gas sector. You mentioned about that Indian investments in the coal sector and natural gas sector. How do you see these sectors holding much promise of cooperation, investments, and business between India and Mozambique?
O crescimento econômico de Moçambique, mesmo depois de
Indeed, since we discovered, Mozambique has been showing a trend of growth despite COVID-19. For instance, in 2022, we managed to grow at our GDP at 3.2%, and last year, 2013, less than 12 days ago, we managed to grow our GDP at 5.3%. So this is so because we've been reviving the development of natural gas resources and other resources. So since the discovery of these resources, India joined in and is having an important stake, and we are working together in this. And we believe that in future, we'll be working in other developments so that not only as a country that is developing these resources, but partnering with Mozambique in order to boost our development and the progress and welfare for our people. Indeed, another sector that has been contributing for the growth of our economy is mining of mineral coal, whereby we have two Indian companies, Vulcan and Jindal, and they have even doubled the volume of production of coal, and these linkages have always been there, and we've helped each other, and this is what is propelling our development and our economy, and will remain so as partners working together towards progress and development.
So, how do you look at our cooperation in the defense sector?
como disse,
Our defense cooperation is quite good indeed. I can recall we are working together in terms of training and capacity building. I recall that when I was Minister of Defense, I paid a visit to this country and I visited Mumbai, those facilities for vessel manufacturing, and we are working together for maritime protection. This is a cooperation that comes from a long way, and I believe that each time, even in our discussion, we talked about this defense cooperation.
E acho que é o que vai acontecer.
We saw Cyclone Idai in Mozambique. India extended a helping hand during that time. How do you see India extending support during natural disasters and also the people-to-people ties? Because we know that there are a lot of huge population from Gujarat, Goa, Daman and Diu reside, trace their ancestry to India who are living in Mozambique.
Well, I want to thank the government of India and also the people, because the solidarity what we are receiving always, phenomenon is very big. You know, our country, we have cyclones, flood, always, every year. Even now, I'm worrying because this is the right time for rains and cyclones. I'm worrying which situation this year would be done. But always we had Idai, we had now Fred. Immediately we are receiving, even by phone or by letters, PM Moody calling and asking what is happening, what we can do, what we can help. And they're supporting immediately humanitarian side. I believe that this is, the question is very good for me because it's giving me the time to try to thank the people and the government of this country for support. And now also another recommendation, it will be that all of us, we have to do our best to make sure that the climate changes must be minimum, because if we are not going to work on that, the situation will be bad for all of us, not only for Mozambique, the geographical situation where we are, but for every country.
Absolutely. So just last few questions. You had spoken on air connectivity, both the leaders did speak about air connectivity. What can we expect for the people who want to, have good connectivity from Mozambique to India?
Well, first, we are trying to lead by example. It's not problem me to call PM Moody and talking. And if sometimes you want to ask me something, it's very quickly. Can you tell one story? I receiving every month bottle of achar from PM Moody.
Oh.
It means that he knows what I like. And we have a lot of stories together because the time when I was living in this state, Moody was the chief minister. Yes. And the vision I know before, I can inspire from him. But in terms of connections, we need to do more. It's very difficult sometimes to go to Delhi, to come to Gujarat. We must fly or to Europe, to Lisbon, and some fighting flight, or to South Africa and Delhi. If we can try to do something, having flights straight from here, because the Indian community in Mozambique is strong, very big.
Yeah.
I'm inviting you. You will suffer to go there. You need to fly from here to Mumbai, or from here to Delhi, and Delhi to somewhere. Let's do our best. You will find that flying together, but with this unit, we must influence, because it's not the companies are not government company, the private company, but they can make money also. Flying from here to Maputo. And from Maputo, we can have a connection to Johannesburg, to Lusaka, to Harare, or to Lilongwe. And this is good. Let's try. You are one of the best who can influence people to make sure. Let's doing once per week or two flights slowly, and to do that. Connection is better to connect people, not only by traveling, but connecting by including TVs, communication, to make sure that the people know what's happening in Mozambique, in Gujarat, in Mumbai, everywhere, in Kerala, something like that.
So, yeah. So yesterday we saw you meeting somebody in Gujarat, and we know that you have been a student here in Gujarat. Can you share some anecdote or experience of being here as a student when you studied at IIM Ahmedabad?
Well, I went to IIM yesterday to see my teachers, my school, my place, my room. It's, to be student is good, because after then you have to remember. I can tell you that once, the first time when I came here in India, it was my first time to come, and straight from Delhi by train, because I was working for Mozambique Ports and Railway. And they decided, I don't like to go to fly. I have to test out the quality of the train from Delhi to go to Ahmedabad. It was so good. By night, morning people are coming, chai, chai. They want to sell tea. And it was good just to hear how people are very friendly. And it was too difficult food first. Space, we call piri, very hot, the space. But spice, we call it, the spice. But now I am one of who's taking spice well, more than you. I can see yesterday even the chief minister of Gujarat state said, why you are taking too much space or spice? I said, well, I'm from Gujarat, I'm from Ahmedabad. And I went also to see a friend of mine. This friend is, when I was in Mozambique before being a politician, I was working for Mozambique Ports and Railways, executive director. And I asked for assistance of financial side. And my director for finance was coming from Gujarat. And he's staying here, you're living. I decided he wanted to come here with his wife. I said, no, let me know. I'm coming to see you home. And full of people, more than 500 people around to see why this president is coming to see you. I am home. I'm happy to be here. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir, for being here, and thank you so much for your time and joining us on this broadcast, addressing so many people here, and we are so happy to have you on DD India. Thank you.
Thank you, and you are welcome to Mozambique.